And roll sound. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Garrett Ray. With me are a bunch of people who just are laughing at a guy blowing on a label of a water bottle. Granted, he's got it stuck to his face. And the person with it stuck to his face is Micah Warber Jaegerman Jensen.
It's my own kite on my head face. It's the indoor kite. It's coming to stores near you.
There's one on every water bottle you purchase. Also with us are the loudest giggler, Katie Fain.
Hello.
And then the one who can't breathe, Abby Cage.
Hi.
What? That was a squeak.
I said hello.
Anyway, welcome to the show. This is the show where every week we go and watch a movie, and then we talk about that while Micah has a kite on his face, I guess.
I'm starting to get lightheaded from my indoor kite.
Maybe you should stop using so much air for it.
It's like when you're blowing bubbles and you get lightheaded blowing bubbles.
Yeah. You only know that sensation if you're a hardcore bubble blower.
Garrett, are you a hardcore blubber blower?
Bubble blower.
I've blown some blubber in my time. Dynamite and whales.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
This went from kites to animal cruelty really quick.
Okay.
Anyway, here we go. Our first section of this show is called the Newsies, or the news, or the Newsily Woozilies, depending on what week it is. You guys are familiar with Star Wars, right? You know what Star Wars is?
I've seen it.
Cool.
I know that movie.
Cool. So we have news about the next one. Captain Phasma apparently has a new weapon, and it's a spear.
Cool.
So
what's she gonna do? Go whaling or gladiator fighting?
No, you go whaling with dynamite. We've already established this.
Whatever.
I don't know. In a world full of giant laser blasters and planets that blow things up and then blow up themselves, I think a spear is the most trusted choice because it can't blow up on you.
It's probably some sort of energy spear, so it probably can.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Probably.
from the get-go. I never even thought of just like a spear without something shiny on the end of it.
I was just thinking like it's like a rebar that they've painted silver with a can of spray paint, and they're like, yeah, new weapon. Go out there and beat up a Jedi or something. We're
the only one that now exists.
The Last Jedi.
It is actually plural, though.
Yes.
It's been confirmed.
When was that confirmed?
I don't know. Recently, though, because in some other countries, the translation is the plural form.
Oh, interesting.
So it is plural.
Why is there a different word for Jedi in different countries? It's a
Dude,
That
big
is a
word.
very good question.
Maybe it's the
But,
last.
I mean,
Let's ask the other countries.
there
Why?
might be some form
Hello,
of grammar.
Kenya. Could you tell us why you have a different word for Jedi than Jedi? Kenya, please.
Can you tell us in English, please?
Oh my gosh.
We've gone off the board. What? Why is this my fault? She said ask the other countries.
You said Kenya.
Can you please? You said that.
Oh!
You made it funny and you
I
didn't
didn't
know
even know it.
What?
Man, can you tell us? That's great. Anyway, so I feel like Phasma is kind of... So far, she's been the Boba Fett of this new trilogy, because she's got the shiniest, most interesting armor, but she's absolutely useless in a fight. So she'll probably fall into some monster's mouth at some point. If not, and she actually gets to do something cool, awesome. I'm really trying to keep us on track, but you guys are just like brushing each other's bangs out of your faces.
No, she had a sparkle on her forehead.
On my forehead.
Just leave it there. No one can see it.
I could.
Also, Katie, every makeup product you have has sparkles in it. I have sparkles on me when I go to work.
It was a bigger sparkle, and I'm pretty sure it came off of a ribbon that the dog got a hold with, so I had to take it from the dog. And then I got sparkles on my hands, and therefore they're on my face.
Cool. Luke's new first words in the new movie are "Who are you?" So that's the first thing he says to Rey after a 20-minute stare down and multiple camera angles.
So many camera angles.
So many camera angles. This has brought up some speculation though, because because people who are attuned to the Force, they can feel the presence of other specific people. So there's some people going, well, since he can't feel the presence of Rey and know that it's like family, maybe they're not family. Maybe she's not connected to the Skywalkers at all. But on the other hand, Luke didn't recognize Vader as his family when they first crossed paths. But on the other hand, the third hand, the one that grows out of my back, this is why I do audio stuff instead of video. I just tuck that hand behind me when I do video stuff. Yep, I've saved that one. Anyway, on the other hand, the backhand that grows from my spine.
Moving on from
I've got in a circle here. Anyway, Luke wasn't attuned to the Force very much when he first met Vader, so maybe that's why he doesn't recognize him. Well, they don't recognize each other. Or this means nothing, and we should probably go solve hunger in a third world country.
I think that's probably the answer. I think that this whole
solve
thing
hunger?
was just...
You look so defeated. I'm sorry.
I don't think that there was any significance to the fact that, like, he doesn't know who she is.
Yeah, I don't think the Force gives you family detection. You can have Force detection, but it's not like
I detect family
that's related to you, and
your family.
If he's saying who are you, then maybe he never even knew that Han and Leia had kids, and she's totally Han and Leia's daughter, and so
he trained Kylo.
Yeah, but they kept Rey secret. To save
dumped her on a planet with her ship that was stolen. This is all very confusing.
For her safety.
Yes, but Han Solo let the Millennium Falcon get stolen?
He left it there for her. Yeah.
No, he says that Unkar Plutt stole it. Or that Unkar Plutt stole it from somebody else who stole it from Han Solo.
Well, maybe he didn't put it there, but maybe it wound up there, and he's like, oh, all right, whatever. Or whatever, Maybe it just happened to be there. But they put her there.
Who knows?
For her safety.
Well, it's still a long ways off, so yeah, we'll find out. Power Rangers.
Ugh.
Yay! I have 4 different notes on this. So, Goldar. Are you guys familiar with the original Power Rangers at all?
No.
My parents didn't let me watch it.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Anyway, Goldar was kind of the right-hand man of Rita in the original Power Rangers series. He had some gold on him. He was kind of like a monster-looking thing because he's an alien. Now he's just an extension of Rita. So this is, speaking to Entertainment Weekly, Power Rangers production designer Andrew Menzies? I think it's Menzies. Menzies? It's Menzies. I'm going with Menzies. Andrew Menzies has now provided some insight into this design, claiming it was a joint choice made by himself and director Dean Israelite, which is a cool name. You're laughing, but I like it. He says, Dean and I talked about him being a faceless and intimidating and characterless. I am not doing well this week. He's an extension of Rita that's unstoppable. I think as humans we always search for character and a face, and it's always shifting and if it's always shifting and changing, blah, it becomes scary. You know what's also scary? When a sentence shifts and changes 40 times in the middle of it and you can't discern what it means.
I don't know. I would almost argue that it's scarier when a character just their faces just kind of remain blank, but you can still tell exactly what their emotions are.
I like it when there's just evil hatred burning in their eyes. Actually, I just like it when it's an evil burning eye in the sky. Lord of the Rings had it right. Israelite himself adds, there's something very beautiful about him. All of the negative space that's constantly in Goldar's design feels very eerie, but on the other hand, he's a kinetic sculpture. So he's art, I guess?
Nice. I like to think of myself as a kinetic sculpture.
Oh. What does that mean?
I'm sure Abby thinks so too.
I'm a sculpture that moves.
That's
what that means.
Well done. Now I understand
Yeah.
what you meant by that. Thor 3 Ragnarok is coming this year, and we are for the first time getting a short-haired Chris Hemsworth in a Thor movie. He's got like a shaved pattern in the side of his head.
Ooh.
It's not like it says like something weird like
Thor.
Yeah,
Thor.
he hasn't shaved Thor into the side of his head. What you want, fam? My name. Say no more. And memes don't work out loud. But also there were a bunch of images released from this. Jeff Goldblum is playing a character I've forgotten the name of because I didn't write it down. But he looks ridiculous.
Awesome.
He's got eyeliner, but it doesn't work like the mayor from The Dark Knight. Like that guy, he almost like it's weird, but okay, fine. But Jeff Goldblum with eyeliner there's just something wrong about it.
Probably make him look like Keith Richards.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Also, he has this like metallic silver line down his chin that looks so cheap.
Nice.
Maybe it's just the way the picture was taken. I'm sure it'll look better once they
probably
on film. But yeah, he looks ridiculous.
Cool.
Speaking to Entertainment Weekly again, as part of a big public rollout for the highly anticipated film's bizarre new characters, surprising MCU crossover characters, and radical upending of the established Thor aesthetic, director Waititi explained just how big the task at hand is for his own film and the never-expanding universe-wide storyline. He says, a lot of what we're doing with the film is in a way kind of dismantling and destroying the old idea and rebuilding it in a new way that's fresh. Everyone's got a slightly new take on their characters, so in a way it feels like this is the first Thor. And if you look at a lot of the images they've released, it's a lot more colorful and playful, and they've talked a lot about this being funnier than the previous Thors and all that. So, and it's an interesting. It's kind of like they're rebooting it, but in continuity and just making it more fun and more colorful and Jeff Goldblum-y.
Yeah, I googled the Jeff Goldblum picture, and he looks like he should be in Bible Man.
Right?
It's not good.
Look up Bible Man villains.
Oh my gosh, he does.
Look up Bible Man villains on Google, and then look up Jeff Goldblum and Thor, and you'll immediately go, oh yeah. Also, watch an episode of Bible Man.
Do it.
Because that's something else. Speaking of other things that are something else, we're getting an Aladdin movie this year.
Ooh, really?
Or not this year, I'm sorry. It's set to start filming this summer.
Oh my gosh, you got me really excited.
I was like, how did I not hear about this?
I know.
It's coming later, but don't get excited yet because it's being directed by Guy Ritchie, who is the director of the new King Arthur Legend of the Sword movie and The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and his style does not fit with any Aladdin style or musical style stuff I can think of. If you've heard of something that Guy Ritchie has done that makes you believe that this might work, please tweet us at RollSoundPod. I want to see something that makes me believe in this, but I don't. That was a dying cat by Abby Kate.
I'm so sad.
So, now, granted, he could just go against his normal style and do something different. We've seen directors do that. Not Michael Bay, obviously, because Michael Bay Bays it up. but he could do something different.
I found something that makes him a little bit qualified.
Don't tweet at us. We don't want it.
Aladdin.
What?
The cartoon, Aladdin. He directed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there you go.
Like the original?
Yep.
Oh.
Aladdin, directors, Guy Ritchie, Ron Clements, John Musker.
Okay.
Well, so I feel like that gives him a pretty good place.
Okay.
I take it back.
I'll still watch it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Guy Ritchie.
Glad we caught that before.
I know you're listening, so. Hey, guys, guess what time it is now? It's time for our favorite... yes, it's 8:25, but it's time for our favorite section of the show. What the crap is going on at DC? I know
nobody knows.
I know you. They don't even know. So while speaking with Comic Book about Wonder Woman, producer Charles Roven addressed the issue of a fluid timeline. Roven described how upcoming DC Extended Universe films will implement flashbacks to the origins of many characters, some of which may take the audience to other worlds entirely. But Roven suggested the possibility of more flash forwards happening as a way to build future storylines.
What?
So in Batman vs. Superman, we get this flash forward to Batman fighting parademons and the whole Superman task force or whatever's going on there.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, very weird. And they're saying, yeah, we're going to keep doing that. So to establish future storylines, instead of establishing them when they're happening, we're just going to flash forward. It'll be fun. Huh. And then we'll also do flashbacks to establish characters who are just coming in out of nowhere. And then we'll flash forward and back, and then you'll just kind of throw up a little bit in the theater.
Isn't that potentially dangerous as far as,
time travel? I could rip a limb off, probably.
Well, no, I mean, they might film something that looks like something and be like, aha, this is for a future movie. And then it comes around time to do that future movie and it's like, yeah, that's not really going to work.
They shoot 40 minutes of footage for this next movie, and it's all with Ben Affleck. And then Ben Affleck just goes, I don't want to. And then they have to reshoot everything, and it costs them millions and millions of dollars. Yeah, it's dangerous. I think they need to... Marvel, the way that they've set their stuff up, everything sets up something in the future, but they're not, like, revealing a whole bunch, so they can go a bunch of different ways with it if they change their mind.
Yeah.
Granted, they're planned out through 2028, I think, right now, so... Yes, I know. It's insane. They've got stuff on the books for years. But if you're flashing forward and backwards and doing all this stuff, just tell stuff as it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to tell an origin story, that can all be flashback to before Batman versus Superman happened or whatever, and then just say 5 years later, and here he shows up in the Justice League because of all the things that he went through, and he watched this and went, I'm Aquaman, and I'm watching stuff on my fish that has a TV installed on it, because that's how Atlantis works, and Superman's, I'm going to go up top.
Well said.
Thank you. And then the fish swims away. He goes, hey, I was watching that. Everybody looks so sad. I'm just not going to tell jokes anymore. Somebody else tell jokes for once.
Knock, knock.
Who's there? You weren't prepared for this, were
No.
you?
It wasn't.
So what he said was, for example, the Justice League movie will take place in a universe that's post-Batman v Superman, just like Batman v Superman takes place in a universe that's post-Man of Steel. When we're dealing with either the Flash or Aquaman, since they will take place in a universe that has happened after Justice League, the characters in the world will be informed by the movies that preceded them, except that there's flashbacks or whatever within those particular movies, and flash forwards within those particular movies.
Okay.
Did you understand that?
Yeah.
I've read it 6 times and I'm still confused.
It makes sense. It just, it's a lot of words to describe it.
Right?
I'm gonna be honest, I stopped listening because it was just like
Your eyes crossed halfway through that.
That was a lot of words.
So many words, and most of them were the same. So I was just like, nope.
Yep.
My brain had a meltdown.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll make sense when we see them, or they'll start losing money, and they'll just be like, yeah, whatever, we're done. Reboot. Bring in Green Lantern.
Oh no.
So interesting. Interesting thing happening, and by interesting I mean here's some money talk. Show me the money. Or burp.
You said or burp, so
It was rhetorical and sarcastic.
I know.
So Kong Skull Island is coming out tomorrow, actually, from when we record this. It's on track to bring in $135 million in the opening weekend.
I believe it.
Yeah, it has generally positive reviews, and Gareth Edwards, who directed Rogue One, successfully brought back monster films with Godzilla. I mean, that made a bunch of money, and people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was not perfect, but it was fun. It was fun if you don't think about it.
It wasn't fun though. It didn't give you enough monsters.
I know, but those guys dropped out of the plane.
Enjoy it.
Now I'm just depressed again. Here we go again.
It was visually impressive and all that, but I just nothing.
Did you at least like Bryan Cranston's part in this?
No, because he died 30 minutes into it, and they advertised the whole movie as if Bryan Cranston was going to be the main person, but no, take him away right from the start. This movie, it's bad.
I'm starting to get the feeling that you didn't like this.
You might be right.
So anyway, Gareth Edwards brought back monster movies for the general public with Micah's favorite movie, Godzilla, and he successfully killed off an actor that no one likes within the first 30 minutes. So I'm assuming Kong Skull Island will do something similar.
Yeah,
and it'll be great, and everyone will love it.
I'm looking forward to it. It looks like fun.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun.
I'm excited.
Yay! From the reviews I've seen, it looks like it's not going to be surprising in any way. That's what a lot of people are saying, is like you can call the shots.
Right.
Yeah.
But it looks great.
Yeah.
Like every shot looks beautiful. So it does look
He's
very
so big.
orange.
And Tom Hiddleston's in it.
Mm-hmm.
And John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
And the lead actress, I haven't seen very much of her in the promotional materials, but it's Brie Larson, who's going to be playing Captain Marvel, which is set to start filming next January. So yeah, 2 Marvel superheroes up against Kong, except they lost all their powers, and now they're just people wearing 70s clothes.
Samuel Jackson too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm. That's 3. And John C. Reilly's in Guardians of the Galaxy. That's 4.
Gosh, let me look at the cast of this movie so I can.
Can you cast someone without getting a Marvel character now? Is
Not
that
anymore.
possible?
Not really, no.
Yeah. So that's Kong Skull Island. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fun to talk about for sure, because there's going to be some moments where we're like, this is stupid. Let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
But if it gets 135 millions, it won't be 135 millions. That's not incorrect, I guess.
Nah.
135 million dollars in its opening weekend. It won't beat what our main topic today, which again, as always, I have not said, even though it's in the title of the podcast. It's a surprise to everyone here, but not listening. It's not going to beat the 152.5 million plus 85.3 million here in the States for a total of $237.6 million that X-Men follow-up Logan made in its opening weekend.
Saved it.
Oh man, now I know what that guy was having problems with when he did that quote from DC. I'm using words to fill the thing that I broke. Anyway, Logan grossed a total of $237.8 million in its opening weekend.
Dang.
Which for an R-rated superhero movie is insane.
Yep.
That's just crazy. So, especially because its budget was only $97 million.
Really?
Really. Wow. So let this be a lesson to you,
They
Hollywood.
achieved a lot.
Right?
A lot.
I want to make a statement. Hollywood, you elitist turkey wads. If you focus on telling a story instead of blowing things up for Michael Bay, we can have good movies. And I will have to stop being this angry.
Amen.
Amen. So that's what we're talking about this week is Logan. And we're going to go non-spoilers first, and then we're going to go spoilers. And
What's not a spoiler?
What? Like,
no,
okay.
we're going to give general impressions of the movie, and then we'll get into spoilers. I promise this is not going to hurt as much as Katie's face says it is right now. Your eyes are going to pop out if you pull your cheeks down like that. Oh, God, they're rolling around on the table. So... Just look over and you're rubbing your belly like it's for good luck or something. What's happening? Oh. So general impressions of Logan, not of Micah's stomach. Or both. Let's go ahead and just give a general good or bad, just good or bad for Logan and then Micah's stomach. Katie? What's your impression of Logan? Good or bad?
Good. I liked it.
All right, and Micah's stomach?
That's Abby's boyfriend. No comment.
That's a bad from Katie.
Sorry, Micah.
Abby, general impressions of
Harry.
Good.
There we go. There you go.
Okay. I'll
Logan.
take
General impressions of
Is that
Micah's
good? Is
stomach.
that good for you?
That's
Is
fine.
that a compliment?
It's not. It's like it's a statement.
Harry. Is that what you thought about Logan as well? Just Harry?
He's pretty hairy.
Yeah, he was pretty hairy.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Micah, general impressions of Logan
Really good.
and your own stomach.
Could be better.
Cool. For me, Logan, good. Micah's stomach, good.
Yeah.
You're
not-
so weird.
It's not a bad
Good.
stomach.
No, it isn't a bad stomach. I
It's-
just didn't know what to say. It was like,
Garrett, you made things awkward.
Yep.
Well done.
So, generally speaking, I thought that overall this is definitely the best X-Men movie.
No doubt.
Like,
yeah.
By a lot.
bar none. It is not for kids. Mm-mm. It is not. Do not take your children to see this. One, because there's more F-bombs in the first 5 minutes than I've seen in a lot of the other R-rated movies I've seen. Like, just that opening scene where they're kicking Logan on the ground.
Ooh, ouch.
So many F-bombs. Like, I didn't count, but I'm just saying, like, general, it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's kind of in the background there, but then they say it right, like, one time, I'm pretty sure someone just looked at the camera and went,
I think that happened a couple times.
And then they went, "This is R-rated." But no, it was intense. It was moving.
I cried.
Katie,
I did cry.
I have a question for you.
What?
If you were to tell the plot in 15 words or less, what would it be?
Oh, that's hard. Why?
That's 3.
Why are you asking me?
That's hard. Why?
See, but then I have to count the words.
Yeah,
Dang it,
I
Garrett.
can't.
Just make it as short as you can. This is improv.
I can't do it without spoilers.
Okay,
Move on to Abby because I cannot.
fine.
See, she had time to prepare.
Man with claws fights for the life of a girl with same attributes.
Cool.
Is that spoiler free?
Well, we see her with the claws in the
Yeah.
trailer. So
Okay,
yes.
I didn't know if that
Well
was in
done.
the trailers or not.
Cool.
Good job.
I'm sorry for giving the 15-word limit. I didn't realize it was going to cause a fight. She's kicked me under the table 3 times.
No, I didn't.
You're so mean.
I just didn't have time to prepare for that.
Yeah.
That's the point.
But 15 words, because then you're just sitting there racking
Like,
your brain like,
you could have
okay.
just said Logan fall down, go boom a lot.
Okay, moving on from this, because it was stupid.
So basically, in 2020, tell me how you really feel. In 2029, there are no more mutants being born. The world hasn't seen a new mutant born in 20 years, and Logan has moved an aging
I think
Charles
you're out of
Xavier.
words.
I am, but I'm not doing the 15-word thing. Logan has moved an aging Charles Xavier to Mexico to protect him from people who want to harm him. So Logan's healing factor is diminished, and he's driving a limo to save money for a boat so that he can get Charles out on the ocean and away from people to safety. So when a woman asks Logan to take her and her daughter North Dakota to save their lives, Wolverine's most painful and harrowing journey begins. Why are you all looking at me like that? Is it because I held my finger up at the end?
Yeah, kind of.
I wanted to go old style Baptist preacher. We're gonna get into spoilers now because
Thank God.
I'm gonna get stabbed if we don't. My spleen. So let's talk about this opening scene. I've structured this all for us so that we can stay on track somewhat this week. But it's 5 pages of notes, so let's try. We'll get through it. It'll be fun. The opening scene. So Logan is self-medicating with alcohol. Do you think there's too much evidence that he's getting drunk a lot? Like, there's just bottles everywhere.
I think it fits it because it just kind of paints a picture that he's given up.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much that he's given up as he's medicating for the pain because of his...
right.
Right, but it kind of paints that picture. That's what I'm
I
saying.
know, I'm just saying sometimes it seemed like excess.
No, it paints the picture.
I'm back to hating things this week. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Weirdly on the one that I really, 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 really loved.
I thought it was fine. I didn't think that it was too much.
Yeah.
Because he's a limo driver. So he's just going from one place to another, not really getting out of the car. So he's just kind of like, okay, one drink, put that in the seat next to me. Next drink, put that one in the cup holder. Next drink, put that one in the little pocket by the
and
side.
you saw the people he was driving around.
Right.
Like,
It's
So
like
maybe
me with
they're
Dr.
the ones
Pepper.
who are leaving the alcohol.
There are at least 5 crushed empty cans of Dr. Pepper in my passenger seat right now.
Yeah, see, there you go. Point in case.
But I'm not getting drunk.
Well, yeah, but you still
Maybe.
leave it.
we
I don't
all
know.
have our things.
It's
That's
got a
his
lot of
Dr.
sugar.
Pepper.
Yeah. Exactly.
Fair enough. So a bunch of Mexican gangsters.
Mexican?
Mexican.
It's 2029. The terminology has changed. A bunch of Mexican gangsters are stealing his hubcaps on a rental. So that would suck.
Yeah.
And he goes out there to stop this, and he's just like, "Hey guys."
Cut it out.
Excuse
Go away.
me.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
he's-
strip the lug nuts.
Yeah, he's like, "You're gonna strip them. They're chrome plated."
And then they escalate things.
Dude, he just turns and like straight up goes, "Oh, Holmes, I shoot you," and then he shoots him.
All right.
You guys, I'm
Don't
serious. You
try it.
don't want to do this. Like,
I love that he gets shot. He goes down. They just go back to what they're doing like it's no big deal. Which, granted, I think this is in El Paso, so that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
But sorry if we have listeners in El Paso. But he just gets up. He's like, "Guys,"
And they're like, what?
and then they all just. I like one of the things that I love about this. It sets the tone for the movie perfectly, because we get very run-down Wolverine. When he pops his claws, one doesn't come out all the way, so we can tell he's messed up.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the same Wolverine we saw in any of the other movies.
And the fighting actually looked real, though.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the things about these fight scenes is
and it was actually
brutal.
bloody.
Yeah.
And I liked that.
Yeah. It's just like Wolverine, although he's not what he used to be, he's finally able, like, it's Wolverine to his full capacity.
Right. It's what
he was meant to be, really.
It's like it is and it isn't, because it's like it's Wolverine being able to be Wolverine, but he's not as agile as he used to be.
He's not.
It's a funny juxtaposition.
Weaker.
Yeah, he's weaker because his body's breaking down, which is sad because he looks haggard.
I mean, that's what happens when you put metal on your bones. It starts to poison you over time.
Yeah, especially adamantium.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that was what was poisoning him throughout?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
But that's because my brother told me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw it was getting old.
Now to get ready for this, I've not really read comics except for I had a reprint when I was a kid of the first appearance of Doc Ock in a Spider-Man comic, and I read that thing 100 times. But I hadn't really picked up a comic since then. Well, it's not entirely true. I read some X-Men comics in the library, but I read the Old Man Logan storyline going into this, and it's got the Hulk, and it's got all these other characters that it's got like Thor's hammer and Captain America's shield, and some guy's got Ant-Man's helmet, anyway, long story short, I knew that the adamantium was what was poisoning him because it's mentioned in there, like, well, it may not be in that storyline, but in different parts of Wolverine's history, it's talked about that in some versions of the comics, his healing factor, when he doesn't have the adamantium in him, it's 100 times more effective. And so the only reason he doesn't heal faster than what he does is because his body is constantly fighting this, this metal that's got all these properties it's like radiation and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, also when he was in Nagasaki, the metal just soaks up all that radiation. So that's been also eating away at him over time. Yeah. So he's got all of that going on inside him, and his body's just constantly fighting these things.
He didn't have that on him yet.
Oh, that's right.
He didn't.
No, yeah, he did.
He did?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Okay, so never mind that. He did survive a nuclear blast, though.
He did.
So
just gotta have some radiation poisoning or something.
Yep. So what did you guys think about when he had to pull his claw out?
Oh, that made me cringe.
Right?
Yeah.
That's most of this movie, though. It's very cringy.
Yeah.
But for the good reason. Yeah, I love that. I love that he was and he just kind of looked at it. I was like, oh crap. This never happens to me. This is embarrassing.
Can we hold real quick?
Pull out my claw.
But the other thing that this scene shows is that he's not invincible anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't cut him in half and he'll just, like he did in the Wolverine, and be okay. You can get a couple of guys and just get him on the ground and kick him, and he's not going to get up and be able to do anything. He's not, Mm-hmm. They did push him to a certain point where he started, like, chopping off legs and stabbing people through the skull and all of this stuff.
That was fantastic.
That was really, really cool. Yeah, I loved that opening scene because it was just like, here's what you're in for. It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck. So, but what's happening basically is he's driving this limo around to save money, and he wants to get this Sunseeker boat. And this woman shows up, and she's like, I need you to help me, Wolverine. And he's like, I'm not Wolverine anymore. Go away. I'm grumpy. I have a more full beard now. I don't do that.
I'm old.
I'm old. Old man Logan. And then we kind of see X-23 for the first time in the back of this car, but it's just her face, and she's looking at him like, you're a jerk. I don't like your face, stupid. And then the Reavers, led by Donald Pierce. That's that main villain's name. It's Donald Pierce. So Donald, which is
such
Donald.
a lame name for
right?
such a hateable villain.
Right? I really liked his performance, though.
Yeah, he did well.
A lot of this, a lot of what happens in this movie is inspired by old westerns. Like, that's kind of a lot of the inspiration they got. And everyone who talks in this movie has kind of that, southern draw. Mm-hmm. And for a second it kind of threw me off because I was like, it's like being at home. Because I go to Walmart and people are like, you want some eggs? No, wait, that's just Katie. She still has that Oklahoma accent sometimes.
Sometimes. It's usually when she gets animated.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you get animated?
No.
Say eggs.
No.
I tried, listeners at home. But Donald Pierce, I think he really had he had quite the personality. You know, he's definitely the guy in a Western who comes into the saloon and he's wearing all black, and he just moseys on up to the bar and starts flirting with the town floozy. Like, that's this guy. He's got that charm, but that deviousness to him. I like that he said, he goes, I'm a big fan. like he's got his thumb on Logan, and he knows it because he knows about Xavier. And which Logan's trying to hide in this, overturned water trough. Not water trough, but water. He's inside what pigs drink water from. But he's trying to hide Xavier in this water tower that's turned over. And Donald is like, I've got your number, pal. Like, you're not getting out of this. Mm-hmm. If you see the woman I'm talking about, you need to tell me. And it's the same woman that he met earlier who was like, Wolverine, help me. I need your help. So, very well put, Garrett. Good job. So, most of the Reavers, though, like the other guys, are just they're dudes with a mohawk and some metal. They weren't very well rounded out.
Nah.
And they're a little bit different from in the comics. In the comics, they're basically, they just want to wipe out all mutants. And there's several groups that want to do that in the comics, because the X-Men are kind of supposed to be Marvel's representation of minorities, and so there's always these groups that just want to wipe them out, and it's about that struggle. That's really what the X-Men are all about. But in here, the Reavers are just kind of like, yeah, I got a metal arm, or I got a metal hand, and I've got an eye implant, and the guy in the back, he's got a metal pinky toe that he lost in our last fight. But no, I thought overall they were pretty good. Like they were intimidating,
right?
So let's talk about the Little Mexico Oasis, which is what I've chosen to call this place. I can't remember the name of.
Nice.
Where they live.
It doesn't look anything like an oasis. Don't let that word fool you.
It's an oasis for mutants who want to hide in a overturned water tower.
3 of them.
Who else would want to live in an overturned water tower?
I'm just saying, you make it sound like it's this place that is a safe haven for all mutants, and it's like, no, there's just 3 of them.
Well, somebody else tell us about this then.
No, please keep going. Don't put me in charge.
So Caliban, who we saw in Apocalypse, basically what he does is he can track mutants. But he was working for the Reavers and Transigen, the company that kind of is responsible for all the mutants being gone. But he's now helping Logan take care of Professor X. And this is... So Professor X is in this overturned water tower because it kind of blocks his mental powers from the rest of people, and it keeps it, it's harder to find him that way. My question is, do you think that's for his protection or for the protection of everyone else, or both?
Yes.
Both?
Both.
So Professor X has some type of deterioration in his mind, and it's dementia or something, but he has these seizures where he kind of Professor X's everybody, and they can't move, they can't breathe, they can't do anything, and it's according to what we learned throughout this, he had one of these seizures and he killed a whole bunch of people and 7 mutants, who I'm assuming are Cyclops and Jean Grey and Storm and like the close group that are always around him. So, and this is different because in the comics, what happens at the beginning of Old Man Logan's story is that all the villains in the world, like Spider-Man's villains and the Fantastic Four villains and all of them, they all band together and they just go wipe out all the all the heroes. And what's really, really tragic about this, because Logan is a pacifist in this story, in the comics, he is in the X-Men mansion, and all the villains break in. He's just slicing them up, he's going through every baddie you can think of. But it's not baddies. It's Mysterio who has created an illusion, and Logan just killed all the X-Men.
Aww.
It's heartbreaking.
That's so sad.
Right? It is absolutely crushing. And they couldn't really do that in this. I can see, because you can't get Mysterio from Sony, because that's a Spider-Man villain. But having Professor X be responsible for this, I think that's a really interesting twist, and it keeps it fresh for all the the fans out there who know the story. But this, I never thought about what would happen if the one guy who can just control everything with his mind had some type of mental breakdown.
Right.
What happens then? Well, he kills everybody. So I thought that was absolutely fascinating. And the effect when all of time is frozen, it's like, it's just so perfectly done.
It almost hurts.
It does.
Like, you're just physically like, oh my gosh. And you just get all tense and you want to... It's like you can't move. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's just part of the effect of being in a theater. And, once I watch the movie at home...
And the noise.
So,
it's that
It's the sound design.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
really
kinda
high
like
screeching in the just the under growl.
Yeah. The undergrowl. That's a technical term.
Yeah.
I mean, it describes it well.
Yeah.
But yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, it definitely puts you in the like what Logan's dealing with and like how he feels. So yeah, very, very well done. I loved that. And it didn't even take $100 million. Just a small sum of $97 million, which I get on an average day at work. So
it's only 97 small loans.
That's right. And this week on Terrible Financial Advice. But what's also interesting is Caliban tells Wolverine that he can smell a sickness on him. Like he's like, there's something inside you that's sick. I can smell it. So we know that it's, even for the people who don't know that the adamantium is what's poisoning him, they know that there's something wrong on top of him just being old, and it's this poison that's in his body. Caliban he says at one point, like, I see you wiping the pus from your knuckles. I didn't see any pus. I just saw blood.
I saw it the first time, like when he was in the bathroom or something, but that was the only time.
Maybe I just didn't. I guess I just wasn't paying attention at that part, but...
Yeah, I guess I just didn't see it. I'll have to go back. I'm going to go watch this again in theaters at some point because it is amazing, and I need to see it again like that. If you are going to see this movie, do not wait for it to come out and watch it at home.
No.
Go watch it in theaters. I saw it in XD.
Oh, wow.
And
me too.
Gosh, it's something else. It's beautiful. Also, something we reported on last week is the possibility of a black and white version coming out on the Blu-ray release. That is officially confirmed. It is happening, and I am so excited to see that.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I like color. I mean, I like black and white on certain things, but for movies like this, I like color.
I just want to see like how they do it and what how much they punch up the contrast and what they from a technical
It'd be
standpoint.
interesting,
I mean, but I like color.
Well, I'm sorry, but we're gonna watch it both ways when it comes out because I'm gonna buy it.
I'm willing to, but I like color.
But James Mangold said it is something we are doing. I think it even surprised everyone to the degree that there is some kind of a running assumption that black and white is a turnoff for most people. It caused such an extreme reaction and so much appreciation for these pictures, and then people immediately wondering if the film itself was going to be in black and white. And so we are giving it a whirl, and I think the Blu-ray will come out with a pass on it. I think it will be a very handsome black and white version of the picture. A handsome version of a bunch of guys getting stabbed in the face. which is pretty darn handsome.
We'll see.
You just all right.
I mean, really, we'll see.
We'll see. We will, because I'm going to buy it 12 times.
Oh, gosh.
For no reason at all.
Lord help our finances.
Who cares if we have finances? We have Wolverine. So, what do you guys think of Lauren and her reveal?
Laura?
Did I say Lauren?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's because I've written Lauren 12 times. My bad.
For shame.
Is it Laura?
It's Laura.
It's Laura.
Man, I'm dumb. Tweet at me how dumb I am. At RollSoundPod. I just want someone to tweet us.
Well, I mean... never mind.
Oh. Were you going to tweet it?
No.
Okay.
No.
She still doesn't have
It's
a
just
Twitter.
that she was named by people. Where was it?
She was named... I don't know. It was a facility in Mexico.
In Mexico, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine Lauren said by someone who's Hispanic.
Lauren.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No, that went Professor X.
Laura.
Lauren.
Laura. Laura works.
Laura. Oh. Well, I'm very white, so I don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna say Laura because
Yeah.
I'm old.
Well, I mean, everybody does except for the lady who's taking care of her.
You're right. Laura and her reveal is the title I've got here. So here's a problem I have. She sneaks into the back of the trunk of the limo, and that's how she gets down to the place where Logan and Professor X are. Fine. Professor X has been talking to her telepathically. Fine. That's great. That's good. I'm okay with this. But then Logan, who has already killed a bunch of fools at the beginning of the movie, instead of killing the Reaver when he shows up, is like Caliban, dump him in a ditch.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get
that was off.
What?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and this is something that they pointed out on the Weekly Planet, and I didn't think about it until then, but now I'm just like, this is the stupidest thing in this movie, because he should have like knocked him out and then went,
This solves so many problems.
here we go. Like, he didn't even have to pop his claws, just get a shovel and cut his head off.
Yeah. Shoot him. Stomp him, even.
Yeah,
Well-
just throw that ball at his face really hard, the one that was laying in the ground.
Well, it was in the script, so.
That's a good point. That's our excuse for anything that doesn't make
Oi.
sense. It was in the script. So she says nothing during most of the movie, Little Miss Laura, and I think that was the best thing they could have done, because in a lot of movies we have, you have a kid actor, and even if they're really good, they become those really annoying kids because. I mean, we've established before we started recording, I'm just not a kid person. But if you have a kid talking through the whole movie, eventually they're just going to be that whining, are we there yet?
Yeah.
And
It's going to be exactly the movie Are We There Yet?
Ice Cube's going to show up and be like, I'm taking over for Will.i.am. I teleport. And so this is, but I think that was one of those things is this actress, Daphne Keane is her name. She got a chance to act because she wasn't having to deal with dialogue written for children that doesn't work. And so her face the whole way through, like we see on her face her past and how she was trained to be a killer and like all of this stuff. I love that when the Reavers show up, she just keeps
goes
eating her cereal.
Oh,
Like she goes nuts.
Right.
But at first she's just like watching and she's just like, I'm hungry. I'm going to keep eating. And then the guys come in and all we hear is screaming.
yeah.
Man, when she carried that guy's head out,
Oh,
That
man.
was awesome.
oh my goodness.
I was just like, oh, she's not playing around.
She's by far my favorite character in this movie.
Yeah.
I personally, my favorite performance in this was Professor X.
He was good.
I Sir, is it Sir?
Yes.
Or is that
think
Ian
so.
McKellen?
I think they both
They're both
are.
serious.
I like
Both.
Laura's performance out of.
What's his, why am I forgetting his name?
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart, yeah. Patrick Stewart's performance in this, if he does not get an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, I'm gonna be there to burn the Oscars down, because that was incredible. To go from, like, we get the full spectrum. We get crazy old man and man who's, dealing with things that he's just remembering he's done. We get feisty, Charles Xavier that we get with the younger version. His interactions with Logan are so natural and just like, oh my goodness. They talk fast sometimes. Like they have a real quick back and forth, a couple of moments like that. And it works so well, as opposed to Iron Man 2, which I watched part of today, and it's just everybody talking really fast over each other to disguise from the fact that it's a terrible movie.
It's not very good.
Oh, so bad. I wish I could forget it like you forget all the Marvel movies, Micah.
Yeah, I pretty much forget. The only thing I remember is like the electric whips that one guy had.
Yep.
That's about.
And that's the best part of that movie.
Yeah, that's why I remember it.
Yep. Also, the suitcase suit.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was really cool, but it was in the trailer, so just watch the trailer. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's-
Iron Man 1 is the only good Iron Man.
Yeah, I like Iron Man 3 for different reasons than I like. It's not really a good Iron Man movie.
It's not a good movie.
Well, just forget it then. But no, this one, the dialogue between Charles Xavier and Logan is
Yeah.
fantastic. It's absolutely perfect for like where they've come from, where they've gone to. It's absolutely great.
And it truly is like a father and son relationship.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, it's always been that way. Xavier, and he even says, it's like, when I found you, you were a cage fighter. You had no future. We brought you in. We gave you a home. We gave you a family. And and Logan's grumpy, but he's still taking care of him like you would your father.
Yeah.
And that's it's just, it's so beautifully done.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's talk about Laura though a little bit. I have here in all caps foot claws.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that, but also they only used it once in the very beginning, and then they never used it again.
I feel like they probably used it somewhere else. I just didn't catch it.
Probably.
Yeah, but they didn't use it enough.
Yeah.
Like, even if they did use it another time, if you didn't catch it, then,
Yeah.
it's not enough.
That's true.
It's pretty neat.
I did love the explanation because Charles says, that's actually that mutation is because of her, her gender. Like she's like a female lion because they have those claws in the back for defense. And we see Laura use it when she's on her back and she's just kicking this guy, stabbing him. I love that look when she pops the claws and Logan's just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Charles, you're not as crazy as I thought you were. You're still crazy, but not this crazy. And I have to save this girl. Like, he just kicks into dad mode immediately. And I love that, like, just that little moment right there. There's so many good moments in the middle of these brutal action scenes. I love that we get this scene where she goes through, the building that they've been living in, and all the Reavers are coming after her, and she's popping out from corners and jumping on people. And it's like one of those earlier scenes we got with Wolverine in the earlier X-Men movies, where he's just like running around going, and stabbing people in the face.
Yeah, it felt like the good part of Origins, like when after he got the adamantium in him in the lab. It felt like that.
Yeah. Except with
cool.
less naked people.
Yeah, and claws that didn't look stupid.
Right? Yeah, claws that look like they could actually kill you.
That was the best part of the Origins, for sure, and it felt a lot like that.
Yeah. So I feel like her performance in this, one of the things I love is that it's not like a rubbery woman who's the wrong size jumping around a lot of the time. It looks like it's actually her. And they did do a lot of practical stuff with her, if I remember correctly.
They just threw her.
They just picked her up by the belt loops and just, whoop, there you go, stab him.
And she just had to go, ah!
Okay. How much did she destroy her vocal cords in this movie?
Well, she's not going to be singing in La La Land 2. We can say that.
I think
but
she can be, based on the singing in La La Land 1.
That's true. It was mostly...
That was like a mouse farting. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, she definitely has some vocal damage after this. But I'm sure Hugh Jackman does too. There's actually a video of him doing some ADR, or automatic dialogue replacement, where they re-record stuff in the studio. They posted this on Twitter. I think it's on his Twitter feed. But it's where the scene at the end where he's running and he's just slicing people up in the woods, and it's just him in his studio going, it's really, really great. But yeah, no, she definitely has some anger issues. So, but no, I loved that scene because it was very reminiscent of the stuff that I remember watching the first X-Men movie and going, that's freaking awesome. And it's because it was stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because Wolverine was getting to Wolverine it up instead of just being, Victor, you killed my girlfriend. Now I'm angry. Oh, she's not dead. I'm gonna throw up. Which is X-Men Origins Wolverine in 2 sentences. But yeah. So this escape for me, they get in the car, and this is where things fall apart just a little bit for me in the special effects department. For the most part, a lot of the effects looked really good. But we have a couple of moments, especially in this scene, where things look a little rubbery and lightweight. For instance, the car, they do all this trick driving and stuff, but when it crashes into that fence, it's a fake car. Like, you can tell. And then when he pulls off backwards and this is both, I have a problem with this and I love it at the same time. There's the guy who flipped off his motorcycle and is hanging onto the fence still shooting. Awesome. Loved it. It doesn't make any sense and physics be screwed, but I love that. And then he swirls the car around and that guy gets thrown into a wall and it snaps him in half. Awesome. Looked rubbery.
Yeah.
One thing I did like, though, is that, in just about every movie that involves a car and a superhero, they crash through something flawlessly. No damage to the car.
Yeah.
And everything's just like, how'd they do that? And he tried.
Yep.
He tried so hard and it just didn't
The
work.
fence just goes boy, 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 boy.
It's just like, oh, that's how fences actually work.
Yep.
Surprise, superheroes.
I love that they have like that little commentary on it. But then they go and they mess it up because he cuts across the train tracks and the train kind of hits the rear end of his vehicle and it doesn't immediately rip the back end of the car off.
Yeah.
That's not how cars work.
That's not how trains work.
It would have popped a tire.
Yeah.
Something would have exploded if this was normal movies.
But it wasn't in the script.
I'm just saying, that's not how cars work. They break.
I think when it clipped the end, I went, ooh.
Yeah.
I was like, something bad's about to happen.
See, and I hit a speed bump at 5 miles under the speed limit in my car one time last year, and my air conditioner doesn't work anymore. So they would have lost something.
Your car's a little different, though.
I do drive a Chevy. An old Chevy. But yeah, let's talk about that gas station scene. I have 3 notes here. One, God bless Texas, because
Right.
it says it on a cup cozy. 2, horsey. She gets so angry at that mechanical horse. I love that she's just like about to rip it apart, and Logan just puts a quarter in, and she goes complacent. Like, horsey.
Yeah, that kind of cracked me up because it's like she is angry and she can fight like nobody's business, but she's still just a little kid.
Yep.
It
So
just
she's
shows
just
that
sitting on a
she's
horse.
just a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I love that Professor X is kind of nagging Logan throughout most of the first part of this movie.
Yeah.
And Logan goes to get out, and he's like, Logan, what? Just stop. I have to pee. I laughed so hard at that moment. Like, after watching people flip around on a gate for 20 minutes, I needed that break.
Yeah.
And then also her eating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That I was like, that's me as a kid. That's me.
That's you now.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've had to walk up to the cashier and go, I'm sorry, she already opened the chips.
Sunglasses on.
One time you made tacos in the checkout line. But yeah, no, I thought that was because she's just like, she wasn't raised in the world. She doesn't know how a lot of this stuff
Yeah.
works, and she's just gonna take what she wants because she's free for the first time in her life.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
She doesn't know she has to pay for anything. She's
Right?
just like,
She's like, what does this mean?
although you see the recognition on her face when he's like, you had to pay for those, and she goes, I'm gonna run.
yeah.
I don't know where I'm gonna run to, the bullet-riddled limo that shouldn't have tires in the back end, but I'll run.
Not okay.
Yeah, I love that. He grabs her arm. He's like, not okay. Do you sell phone chargers? He just steals it.
Steals
Yeah,
some,
he
and 2
just steals some more
cigars.
things.
I do have a problem, and this is movie logic, so it's okay. But he's watching this video, and it's got like voiceover over specific clips that have been edited together. I guess maybe you could say he just watched all of them, and this is like they were just playing with time a little bit. But the way it was presented, it did look like she had edited this full video, and she's like, I got a 5.1
got
surround
it.
sound mixed, and if you plug it into your home theater system, it's all in 4K. It's fine. It's all good.
Also, like the voice over she recorded and the video of herself she recorded was the night that she died, so she did all that editing together.
She
right
may have done
before
all
she
the
died.
editing beforehand and was like, well,
Now I'll just do some voiceover.
Uh,
Although to be
it's-
fair, I normally do stuff the night before it's due as well.
yeah, but she's
So you
just
say-
she didn't know she was going to die.
Yeah.
She was just kind of like, if you're seeing this, it means I'm dead.
No, my death is due tomorrow.
I didn't do my homework.
just like, I don't know. She's just a nurse. I don't know.
I kept trying to figure out who that actress was because I know I've seen her in other things. So
Did you ever figure it out?
no,
Well, that's fine. Well,
That was an insightful moment right there.
I know I was just explaining my
That's-
thought.
That's our new section, Insight with Katie. So, but yeah, no, that was a great little scene that just kind of it gave us a break and some humor and let Professor XP. So that's good. So next they go to Las Vegas or Durant, Oklahoma. Where is this casino? Because they're traveling north.
It's in Oklahoma. They mentioned Oklahoma.
Oh, did they? Mm-hmm. Oh, I missed that. So they're
Yeah, at first I was like, why are they in Vegas? That's the other direction.
yeah.
Or like not necessarily the other direction,
They're
but
traveling north.
it's the
not
wrong
west.
direction.
Yeah, they're like traveling straight north from
I think
Texas
it was.
to North Dakota.
I don't know what city. Oklahoma City. They were in Oklahoma City. That's what it said.
Hey, I've been there,
Hey,
and so have you, Katie.
I have too. Have you
I'll
been
say.
there?
Wait, were we in Oklahoma City when we went for the thing?
Yeah,
We went through it.
Yeah,
Did you go
so
through
then
it?
yes.
Yay! So we've all been to where Logan killed some fools. Good for us.
Cool.
Also, I've been to El Paso. So I've been to 2 places where Logan has killed some fools.
Neat.
Not sure where the word "fools" came from, but it happened.
Works.
But okay, how did parking that limo that's riddled with bullets and no windows? How did parking that right outside of a casino not raise suspicion, for one? Also, why did no one call the cops? And thirdly, why did Logan valet park it instead of dumping it in an alleyway to begin with and just wheeling the old man up to the
It was in the
casino?
script. Duh.
No, this excuse is not okay now.
Well, I mean, talk to the writer.
You shouldn't valet park a bullet-riddled vehicle.
Talk to the writer. Talk to whoever.
I don't like
Had
to
that
valet
idea.
park any car.
Yeah.
We valet parked on the night we got married, and it was awesome.
It was great.
I loved that. You know what? I can understand. I take it back. It's amazing to valet park. Great for him.
Maybe it was just to get a reaction, just to see, because he just didn't give a.
I don't think Logan is the kind of person who would go
Cares.
for a reaction when he's trying to escape a bunch of people who are chasing him and could kill him.
True, but
Fair point. I mean,
maybe it was just to make people laugh. Okay.
He's also just
That's a good point.
past caring about much.
He's
Yeah.
very tired.
He's very
so
tired.
I mean, also it's kind of he doesn't care, so
yeah.
whatever.
I'm just saying, from a tactical standpoint, dude's not doing this right. So, did you guys think that the Western was a little bit on the nose when they watched it in the... I mean, that, like, maybe it was a little bit too much, like, here's the parallel we're drawing. Would you like to see it? Parallel. And then they took a marker on
Well,
the board and went, squeak, squeak. Like
at the
that.
moment, I don't know if it was because I wasn't quite following the dialogue necessarily. I don't know. I didn't immediately see the parallel. Like, I saw it, but it took me a second.
Oh, okay.
So,
Did you think it was too much like, here's what we're doing? Like, this is where... Because interestingly enough, that movie is called Shane, and they watched it a bunch of times when they were coming up with the story for this. So it's basically, like, that's where they got a lot of the influence for Logan.
interesting.
So,
I mean,
I saw an article... Oh, gosh, I hate the internet. I saw an article that said, something you didn't notice in Logan that will change the way you perceive the movie and change your whole life.
I hate those articles. Those articles make me so angry.
I do too. You know what it said? It said
Nothing.
something. It says the eulogy Laura gives at the end of the movie is a direct copy of the speech from the movie they watched earlier
What?
on. I'm like, duh, that's the point.
yeah.
I'm not an idiot.
Also, it would make no sense for her to say half of it
Right?
if she hadn't heard it previously.
It didn't make sense even though she had heard it previously. Like, just the line, murder is a mark and you can't, or whatever.
Right.
Like, that's all she needed to say. We didn't need
I
the
kind of
rest
get
of
why
it.
they did the rest.
Yeah.
And I did like the line at the end, which is, there are no more guns in the valley.
Right, no, like, I'm talking about, like,
Oh,
to
just-
the end, but
right.
the line, it's a mark. Like,
Right.
that's where it should have, I thought it should have started. The rest of it seemed a little bit overindulgent of
Yes.
the moment. But she's a child with no perception of what to do at a funeral, so
Yeah.
cool. Good for you, little Laura, stabby lady, because I don't know your last name. So we get the X-Men comics. We talked about this. Those were created specifically for the movie. We theorized that was, to keep people guessing or something. But according to the director, that was actually just because of some copyright issues. So they just got the people who used to draw them and were like, yeah, can you come up with something? So interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What'd you guys think of the seizure scene?
Were there a few?
There were two.
The one in...
Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. That was... So I love it
That
when he
was
got in the room and
cool.
just started,
Yeah.
like, really systematically
people.
just stabbing dudes.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
great.
man.
That first guy, when he's coming up the hall and the guy's eyes move and he's just
Yeah.
looking at him, it's like it was only his eyes just turning. Like they didn't get wider or anything. he just turned,
Yeah.
and there was so much fear in that guy's face. Like, oh my God, that guy deserves an Oscar.
Yeah.
Or I'll torch the Oscars. I'm continuing.
You need to
my
stop
threats.
making
Award to the guy who we don't know his name.
That one. Yay! All right.
Unnamed character.
And then I'll put
Thug
my lighter
four.
up. But yeah, like that scene. I love that it's like everyone's kind of just frozen. They can't move. They can't breathe. They can't, all that stuff. But when he stabs them, there's the movement from him doing that. And then when he lets go, they're just stuck in that post-stabbed
Yeah.
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 position. Couldn't find the word.
It's about all
And then
there is.
after the seizure and they all drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. That was something else. I love that, like, as he gets closer, like, the sound gets more intense.
Yeah.
Because if that had happened any longer, people's heads would have exploded.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
And you can feel it.
Right? I
You're
feel
like, this
mine
can't
would.
go on much longer.
Yeah.
We're all going to die.
And I love that Laura is not helpless in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
She's already got the syringe loaded.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they work together,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of just get through that moment as a family. Wink, wink.
Oh my gosh.
One thing that made me laugh when it was happening was just picturing Wolverine in the elevator for the full duration of the elevator strip.
Just looking constipated as all get out.
Yeah. Because he had to go up, 12 stories? 13
Yeah.
Right.
stories? So he's
Everything's frozen. The car that crashed, because it used to be, like, I remember... there's a previous time that Professor X has Professor X'd everybody and made them still. But then, like, machinery would stop too, and in this one it's just people. Mm-hmm. And so a car crashes, the elevator still works, all that stuff. I don't know if that was, like, because he's having a seizure and it's different and he's not focusing on doing those things, or if it's or what's going on. But in any case, this stuff went bad.
Like that.
Yeah, Micah's water bottle fell. But yeah, I love that whole scene. It was very. There wasn't any music, was there?
No,
It
it
was
was just the sound.
Yeah, just the throbbing. Absolutely amazing. I freaking loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, because it felt terrible.
Just great.
Yeah.
So that was really fantastic. Yeah, I love, like, that first guy. I will never forget watching that, because it's like he's looking right at him and he gets stabbed in his eyes, just kind of like flip back in his head, and he's dead. Absolutely great. So after that, I have one more question about what happened with when he went to go buy the truck, and she's like, "You need new tires on that. It'll be an hour." Why did they not already have new tires on this truck if they're trying to sell it? To get extra, I guess, out of the sale? What were they doing? It just
don't
seems
know.
stupid. So they get on the highway with this new truck. Those driverless trucks that are just hauling stuff scare the crap out of me. I never want to see that.
Yeah, that was scary. I liked him though. That was clever. I really liked how this movie did the future thing, because it, like, showed you that it was the future and there were new things and the world was different, but it wasn't like, yeah, future flying cars, lasers. Yeah. It was, like, really artful and cool. And it was like stuff that is like
God.
likely. It's neat.
Yeah, I felt like it was just part of the world. It wasn't like in your face. It's 2029 and now all the cell phones are implanted in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like
Yes. Hello? Beep boop beep boop.
she's pressing her cheek. For those of you at home who have no idea what's going on, did this scene though? Did it kind of feel like a contrived way to get our heroes in with an innocent, normal family? Did it feel kind of contrived to you, or did it feel natural?
It probably more natural than
Yeah,
contrived.
I agree.
I have one problem with this scene. Xavier can somehow just all of a sudden use his telepathy and it's not suppressed by the pills, even though he just took him like 20 minutes before that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was...
A little bit inconsistent, but
I mean, he uses it in a fairly minor
Yeah.
scale.
yeah, just to
It's
get
a very
some horses.
small scale.
Oh god, if we'd had to see a horse's head blow up,
I would, like, I can't handle animals dying. That, like, ruins movies for me.
but people,
Oh,
just
that's
kill
fine.
them.
Yeah, go for it.
We this may be our problem as a society. Don't kill the dog, but yeah, that guy. Just stab him in the face.
It's just like the people who are being killed are generally awful people.
That's true.
And for the most part, animals don't like usually purposefully do things wrong. They're just animals. And
Animals are always innocent, yeah.
Except for when they bite a baby in the face.
Or if they're goats.
Goats are
Oh,
awful.
goats. The only goat I'm okay with is Micah.
Thanks. I'm not okay with that.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not
That's just
okay
because
with
you're a
being
goat. You're not okay with being a goat?
Yeah.
You'll be fine. But I'm sorry I called you the problem of society. I didn't mean it. So, this is one of my favorite moments in any movie ever, when he says someone will come along, and Xavier just says someone has come along. I love that moment so much, because it was just the perfect response. And I don't know, it's not going to be remembered as one of the big moments from this movie, but I love it. Mm-hmm. But I loved it in the trailer more when it seemed to be referencing Laura instead of a bunch of people with some horses.
I kind of like it better that way, because then it speaks to a larger issue of just like being a good person and not expecting other people to do things and help people out. I think it's a better message for society.
I know, it just seemed cooler when it was about the girl.
Yeah, cool, but yeah.
That's just me. I'm not a good person. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm not here advocating helping people on the road. Just
What if they like talk to you or something? Gross.
oh gosh. Oh, what did they ask you about your family? What are you supposed to say? I have one?
Yeah.
Good for you.
The weather is okay. Ugh, people.
Shut up and let me get to the next gas station so I can ignore the cashier. I don't want to be here.
The gas man.
I have a note here that just says horses.
Horses.
That
Well
stressed me
done,
out.
Garrett.
So, say what?
The horses, they stress me out.
Oh yeah.
They did?
Watching animals walk through the street stresses me out like nothing else.
Unless they're goats.
Well, that too, because I had to save goats from the street. And
Oh, that's right. Oh man, we got our own tragic storyline going on here.
none of them
Animals in the
died,
street.
unfortunately, but I had to get them all.
Anyway, so they get to the Munson house.
The fish died.
At least our fish died. Oh boy, that's that'll make it
Thankfully, our
its
fish
way.
died.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I'm not gonna bother to explain
Nope.
that.
Sorry.
Listeners, tweet us at @RollSoundPod. What do you think would be a good situation for your fish to die? No context.
Moving on.
They get to the Munson house, and yay, dinner, corn, family. Those are the things I remember from that scene.
And Laura's chewing.
Yeah, dude, she's just chowing away.
Yeah. Good meatloaf. Good corn.
I can relate.
But no, I did think that was an important moment, because we kind of, Charles has kind of made them come here against Logan's will, and because he wants Logan to see what having a family is like. And they've already revealed at this point that she is his genetic daughter.
Right.
They got her out of a test tube, but it's his genes. So, and they're probably Wranglers. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. So they, you know what? Don't laugh. I don't care. It's for me. But so we have. Do people really cut off other people's water supplies to force them to sell their property like that? Is that a real thing, or does that only happen in westerns?
I don't know, man.
Have you ever had your water cut off while you were having to chase a goat?
No, like that was a city school zone owned place, so like it was the school zone's thing. They needed the water, so
Cool.
even if they wanted to do that to us, they would necessarily be doing it to themselves.
We want to have that as a parking lot over there, but then our children would be very dry.
Yeah.
You don't want dry children. Darn it,
Keep
we're
them
stuck.
watered.
You gotta water your kids, people. That's parenting right there. So we have this this moment where Charles wakes up the morning after. And I don't think it's really important to go into the scene where they go out to fix the water stuff. But Charles wakes up the next morning and says, "This is the most perfect night I remember having in a very long time."
He doesn't wake up the next morning.
It was still the night before Wolverine went out to fix the water.
It was strangely lit in that room, though.
Yeah, it was really bright.
I remember feeling like it was morning when that happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was well aware of the fact that it was night.
Well, I'm just dumb.
Well, it's just...
And I don't water my kids, so you can't listen to anything I say.
I guess the light was pretty bright, but, there wasn't sunlight.
Yeah.
It followed dinner.
Yeah.
Well...
Laura wasn't asleep yet. They hadn't gone out to fix the water yet.
But didn't he say let her sleep another hour?
That was later.
No, because the moment I'm talking about...
No. He thinks he's talking to Wolverine.
Right, yes, but hold on. Because he wakes up and he thinks
says,
Wolverine is behind him, and he said, don't wake her up, let her sleep another hour. And then, I don't know what was going on. Time is irrelevant. At least it's still more consistent than the timeline of the X-Men movies.
It's all the same scene.
Yeah. So, yeah, he wakes up and he says... Let her sleep another hour. And this is the most perfect night I can remember having. No, it's not.
No, it wasn't.
Listen to me finish. Let me finish. Let me...
Watch it again.
What?
He says, this is the most perfect night I remember having, but I don't deserve it, do I? I remember what happened at Westchester because he remembers that he killed a bunch of people. And he rolls over and says something, and then bam, out of freaking nowhere, Wolverine claws stab him through the heart.
Yeah.
That's one scene.
That's one scene.
Yeah, it is. But
then why are you telling me I'm wrong?
Yeah,
I'm so confused now.
What are you trying to say?
I thought you were talking about before the water thing happened.
No, it's after the water thing. No. That's why I said I don't think it's important to go into that. I'm moving on.
I'm so confused.
Anyway, Charles Xavier gets stabbed by what we can only assume is Logan, but then the camera switches and it's young Wolverine? And what is happening?
With really red eyes.
Right? Were they? I don't remember.
Yeah, they were kind of like orangey.
I just remember he wasn't as old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was bigger.
And he looks like that animal again, like that young Wolverine.
He looked a lot like Sabretooth to me.
Yeah, he kind of had some of that in him. And so this is, I thought maybe this was a dream sequence.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, me too.
Because they do that a lot with Wolverine, and he wakes over and it's just a lady he killed sitting next to him going, can you stay? And he's like, no, because I've already stabbed you again. No, Gene! And then he wakes up in Japan, as Wolverine often does. But yeah, no, this is X-24, which they kind of allude to earlier in the movie. I don't remember how. But he's a surprise to the moviegoers as well as the comic book fans, because X-24 is not. He doesn't exist in the comics. This is new. This is for this movie. The closest thing that there is to this is an android that's made to look and fight like Wolverine, whose name is... What would you name your android that you've built to kill Wolverine?
What kills Wolverines? I don't know.
Like, just think of the most harsh name you can think of. What would it be?
The
Iron Wolf.
the mecha destroyer of Wolverines.
Okay. You know what his name is in the comics? This android? Albert.
All right, that works.
Albert.
Albert.
My uncle's name is Albert.
I know a guy named Albert. He's your uncle. No, I know another guy. But yeah, no, I'm not kidding. That's the closest thing we get to this. But anyway, X-24 is completely new, and he's not Albert.
And terrifying.
Logan gets his butt kicked in this fight with him. Mm-hmm. Like when he grabs him by the arm and stabs him in the armpit and carries him that way.
That made me hurt.
Oh my gosh. That was horrendous.
That whole scene was just, it hurt me. Because it's like, Wolverine's trying so hard to fight him, but he can't. And Laura's all chained up, so she can't do anything. And she's just screaming on the floor. And it's just like, there's just so much desperation here.
And that harness she was in looks very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it looks awful.
So I wouldn't want to be transported in one of those. Oh. Tell you what. So yeah, but he gets it. That is a brutal fight.
Yeah,
that was so hard to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. So Caliban sacrifices himself.
Yeah.
And this is a very noble end for a character who, honestly, like, I don't know how he even got into the movies because he's a sea-level mutant that's not mentioned a lot from what I know. So very interesting that he's gotten 2 X-Men movies. But I love that he says, "Beware the light." That was the best turnaround of a line that someone has said earlier in a film that I have seen since we started this podcast, at least. Like, because the light, grenades make light.
Yeah.
Mother freakers.
Why would you even?
Go ahead and take that out.
Nah.
All right.
Because grenades make light and explosions and bomby stuff.
Balmy stuff.
Bomby.
And is
Some
this-
lip balm.
Is this before or after Mr. Munson has driven his truck into X-24?
I think it was
before, yeah.
Yeah, it was before. It's okay. X-24 has killed everyone in this house.
Yeah.
And there's that great moment where X-24 comes down the stairs just as Logan is getting to the bottom, and there's this recognition. He's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Oh my, what is happening right now? And he can't do anything because he's just so confused and like shocked at what's happening. Fantastic. Loved that. Great performance. Give Hugh Jackman an Oscar.
Both of them.
Give both of I want 2 Oscars.
2 Oscars.
I want 2 Oscars for Hugh Jackman and Jack Human. So yeah, that's how Mr. Munson has been stabbed and thrown down a flight of stairs. How is he at all able to get up and drive his
Big,
truck?
strong man.
He's a hard dude.
Also, why did no
He's a
one hear
farmer.
him start his truck?
There was
Explosion?
a lot going on.
It's true. He did have a couple of knives through his armpit, so I don't think Logan would have heard it.
No.
Funny. I really love to get into movies. I stabbed myself in the armpit at that moment to make sure I could know what was going on.
Yeah.
I
That's
am
why
still
you're paralyzed in that arm.
Yes. It's very difficult to use a toilet now.
What?
And put on pants or tie your shoes.
Yeah, just the toilet thing. That's the only thing about it. She was so. But I didn't do that. I lied. I'm sorry. I stabbed myself twice.
Oh god.
But yeah, no. I felt like it was kind of. All right. Surprise! He drove a truck.
I
but
like
but
that.
when X-24 gets impaled on that tractor or whatever it was, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And he shoots him like 3 times in the head before he stops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. And this is also kind of where we learned that X-24 is not. He doesn't heal as fast as Wolverine because they have to use this serum to get him to heal
Yeah.
back up. Because Wolverine would have just sealed up as soon as they pulled him off that thing.
Yeah.
So he's not quite as, resilient as the original. So I thought that was an interesting thing that they put in there, and it played into the end of the movie when we get there. So I thought that was it was a natural way to bring that into the story. You agree, Micah?
Yep.
You're very quiet. I thought you were going to come and go, eh.
No, that's fine. Yeah, it's good.
Cool. Yeah, that feels weird to hear that. So Charles Xavier dies in the back of a truck. When he dies, he pats the side of the truck and he says, "This is your Sunseeker, right?" Is that what he said?
I didn't know what he said. I didn't hear
couldn't
it.
tell. I knew
Yeah.
Sunseeker was in there somewhere, but I couldn't tell.
But I guess what he was saying is like, "This is your ticket to freedom. Just go. Just go. I'm gone. Go."
Right.
So yeah, I couldn't quite hear what he said. I was wondering if you guys had, but 4 out of 4 of us didn't hear it properly.
Yeah.
Takeaways, Oscar. Take it away.
And then they drove away really fast with the dead guy in the back of a truck just
Well, it's not
flopping
like he's
around.
going to complain.
Well, yeah, but he's just gonna get all bruised up and maybe like bust open a few times. Like I'd put him in the back seat.
I feel like he'd have to decompose just a little bit, or like be dead for maybe a couple more hours before he might pop or something.
I don't know. You could have some bones pop out.
That's true.
That's true.
I would say it's
Which
always
bones?
a good measure. Leg bones, just extremities,
Like
arms,
Yeah.
legs.
I did a chicken wing there. I don't know why. But to be fair, there's still Reavers
Yeah.
right out there, so
Right.
they really didn't have a choice. The burial scene, very short, very effective. The fact that he just, like, all he could say is, there's water. Like, that's as far as he could get. And he knows this is pitiful. And I can't do anything more for my friend. And he's just lost everything. And he beats up the truck, which that may be why my air conditioner doesn't work. Because every time I get mad, I beat that.
That was a great scene. That was, and how she's just watching him.
Yeah.
Then he just collapses.
Yeah.
And she takes the initiative to steal somebody else's car. And
I wonder if she killed that guy.
I wondered that too.
No, he'd already run away with the dog to go fishing.
I think she just took the car.
Yeah, I hope so.
When Logan collapsed, I half expected Micah to run by with like a goat under one arm and just kind of grab him by the arm and drag him. Get out of the school zone.
You're an animal.
So I thought it was interesting. She takes him. She straight up steals this truck. Laura does, but she takes him to the doctor's office, and I think it's interesting. We haven't heard her utter a word this whole time, but she talks to the doctor.
Yeah,
because the doctor says,
obvious.
he says, I was afraid I was going to have to tell that sweet little girl her dad was gone, and it's like, I mean, she talked to you. She can talk. What a butt. What a little butt. But I thought that was an interesting thing because she really hadn't, up until this point, she hadn't really trusted Logan very much. So we have this, we're learning more about her. And then, I don't know why I didn't expect her to speak in Spanish at first. I should have, but I'm, like we've established, I'm both not a good person and an idiot. so I should have expected that. But she starts talking in Spanish. And I think they did a good job of kind of transitioning her into English gradually. So it wasn't like, she's just bilingual. It was like, English is not her first language. Spanish is. Well, no, I take that back. Grunting is her first language. Grunting and screaming. Spanish is second. English is a distant third. But no, I thought that was really good, and they have that conversation in the truck when Logan's starting to fall asleep. She said, "You want to die?" And he goes, "How do you know that?" And she says, "Charles told me." He goes, "What else did he tell you?" She said, "To not let you."
Yeah.
It's like, is that Charles being a jerk? Like, don't let him die. It'll piss him off. It'll be hilarious. He stabbed me with a needle so many times in the last 3 hours. But no.
He made me take pills when I didn't want to.
They taste yucky. Logan, I don't like these.
Let me see it.
Oh yeah, that was great. He's forced to take these pills. I want to see his.
My favorite moment once she started talking was when he was like, "You can talk, you're such a jerk," and then she's just like, like,
"Shut up! Please stop talking now." I liked it better the other way. Yeah, that was great.
I love it when Spanish-speaking people go on a rant.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just love it. It's just like so feisty, so sassy, and it's so fast.
Right? I can't talk that fast, and all I do is talk.
No. You made this weird sound with your mouth.
It's gonna happen.
One of those weird moments where I ran out of words. That's some serendipity right there.
All I do is talk.
Yeah.
Silence.
Like I said, I'm an idiot. So they get to this outpost in the wood after Laura drives them the rest of the way. I like that when they lifted, because he falls down and can't climb up to this cabin on top of the well, they're not quite the safe haven yet, but
right.
it's like a meeting point. And when they lifted him up to the cabin, we get this little callback to his hatred of heights and his fear of heights, because he just kind of looks over and he's like, I'm on a board, and he just grabs it.
Yeah.
And we didn't need dialogue, we didn't need a stupid Ryan Reynolds going, people don't die on planes very much. Well, how about by getting stabbed? Blah, 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 I'm Wolverine. We didn't need any of that, and it was perfect. And it was a good moment that was character and show not tell and happiness for me. Happiness.
I'm glad.
How'd you feel about the Deadpool intro?
I laughed.
Why do I always have to see some man's butt in this movie? In every Wolverine movie, there's some guy's butt.
But that's probably. I mean,
you just like butts. You're like I just like you're like I just like it.
Oh, I said I didn't like it.
Oh, I thought you said I just like.
No,
it.
I said I didn't like it.
I liked it.
I thought it was funny.
I thought the humor was good.
It was amusing. That's for sure.
They cut that down because the one that they released online, like in the phone booth, he calls his costumer and everything. They cut that down by like a minute for the theatrical one, which I thought was weird. Why not do it the other way around? But whatever. I thought it was funny that like Logan was showing at the theater behind him.
Yeah.
So it's very meta. I didn't like the Deadpool movie very much. It's just not for me. You know, I'm not saying it's for the
I didn't
or
watch
anything
it,
like that.
so
it's. I don't know if you'd like it either. But
I mean, I liked that. That was funny.
Yeah, I thought that intro was funny. Wait, is this the first time we've all had a different opinion than Abby? We've made history today.
Really?
It's not hard to make history when you've only had like 5 of these.
Shh, we've had 8. This is 8.
Oh, wow.
Aha! History making now? What do you say?
Sure, I mean, technically.
Everything that we do is history.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't know. I have too much like I don't even know what you would call it, but it just bothers me the fact that he laid down next to the guy that he failed to save, or like on the guy that he failed to save and started eating his ice cream. I was just like,
oh, that's what you have a problem with.
Yeah.
Don't steal people's ice cream. That's messed up. Let him die, but leave their ice cream.
That's not my point.
Let him have his ice cream.
The ice cream wasn't the point.
I'm sorry.
Did you feel like it was morbid?
It was just it made me
cringe.
Do you just not like dead bodies?
She liked
I liked Logan.
All right.
How about Deadpool?
Did you say toupee?
Toupee.
I almost said to be fair, but I was like, no, that's fair, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, toupee. Let me adjust mine.
I like it. Okay.
So,
anyway, moving on.
Let's get back to this. We'll never know. I don't think we'll ever know who was on the other end of the line of that radio conversation. But we know someone's up there watching out for these mutants. The adamantium bullet. This is something that shows up several times throughout the movie. But I only have it in my notes here, so that's why it's not coming up till now. But I like that there's kind of this, like, he's got that so he can kill himself whenever he wants. Or whenever he needs to, and it's just like, I'm done. But I have a gripe because I'll get to that later. There's that little exchange where she says, "What will you do?" And he's like, "I don't know." But he's pushing her away. He says, "Everyone I care about dies," and she goes, "Then I'll be fine."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just like,
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was not a sarcastic whoa. I do sarcastic whoas a lot, but here, whoa. I said it out loud in the theater, and then I stabbed myself in the armpit again because I wanted to feel that pain. that was a powerful moment for me.
Brutal.
Yeah, loved it. They give him his classic haircut. All the giggling children with a billion pairs of scissors out of nowhere. Where do they get these scissors? And why are they all giggling so loud? You're gonna wake him up.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting to have happen.
They got pretty close with the scissors.
They did.
Like, they got a buzzed length of hair with scissors.
Yeah.
Uniform.
Now I can't grow a beard.
That's entirely possible.
Children.
Children with arms completely outstretched, you can tell from like the angle they're coming in. It's not like they've got like wrists. They can't move their wrists very much. They're just like snip, snip,
like
snip,
if you
and their whole arm is moving.
Eventually they'll do it.
Eventually.
If you want to get like that close cut and that like
he was out for 2 days, man.
I enjoyed that scene because it just showed
doing it for a little bit.
Kids being kids. Because
yeah.
Not necessarily.
And not one of them asked, "Are we there yet?" The whole time.
But it
probably because they were there.
You know. Playfulness.
Yeah. And which is interesting, 'cause they talk the whole time about them just being trained to be, soldiers and killers from birth. But when they are running to Canada, they're taking the pacifist route. They could have turned around and killed all those guys, but they don't. They just keep running, like they don't want to. I thought that was
it's interesting,
really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I do think that children that have been lab raised and trained to kill and not loved should be more messed up than they were. Just
the nurses showed them quite a bit of care.
I guess that's true. They had that birthday party and everything, and
they had the nurses were like mothers. Yeah.
And they got reprimanded for having a birthday party.
Yeah.
Well,
it's my 16th birthday all over again.
Were they raised as killers, or when they tried to start raising them as killers, they started trying to run away?
I don't know. The editing of that video on the cell phone was very, very confusing.
Because that's what I gathered.
Well, she's only a nurse. She's not a professional.
I'm just saying she should have done more voiceover to explain that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just that what I gathered from it was that when they tried to start making them into killers, the children started running away.
Yeah.
And revolting.
Because, like, it would be
and
pretty
killing
easy
people, ironically.
Well,
kids are, like, the easiest thing to brainwash. Not that I know, but, like, or not from what I know from experience, but, like, that's just, like, when people are super...
vulnerable.
It's just, like, you don't know what the world is, and this person can tell you what the world is. I don't know how they turned out being, like, nice little people.
The nurses, that's the only thing that I can think of, because they were, like, mothers, and...
Like, they genuinely cared for them.
That was a sloppy experiment, then.
Put a bunch of women in charge of raising these mutant children.
That you want to be killers.
Right.
Yeah.
Because kids can tell who's good to them, you know. Kids can tell.
Yeah. The people with the metal arms dragging you around by your hair, probably not the guys you want to listen to.
Yeah. I mean, they could kind of see by their surroundings.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about this final fight. Wolverine hears screaming, and they have that little note that says "not all at once," and he's like, "All at once."
That was so
That
cool.
was like the Darth Vader moment in Rogue One times 10.
Yeah.
It was like, yes, here it comes.
I love that she hears him just growl from a distance, and he's just slicing people to bits left and right. Oh, it's so good.
It was amazing. It was like, yes, now we're finally seeing full Wolverine.
Yeah, it was cool how it, like, unaged him a little bit for the time it was active. And then, and then it faded off.
And I think that's one of the great things that they did about this, because, like I said, his healing factor is 100 times more effective when he doesn't have the adamantium in him. He doesn't have minimum adamantium.
Like, your lips just kind of ran away.
Come back.
Where'd you go?
My lips. Anyway, but I was wondering, is like, he's so weak by the time he gets to this outpost. How is he going to take on all these Reavers like we've seen in the previews? And this serum was a logical way of, I use both of those words and I stand by them. This was a logical way for them to do that without having to get the adamantium out of him somehow, and keeping him from being able to die. Because I was thinking about it leading up to this, I was like, he's not going to be able to take them on like this. The only way for him to be able to heal up and do what he needs to do is for Magneto to show up and rip all the adamantium out of his body like he does in the comics. Because it's the only way he's going to stop being poisoned by this stuff. But that doesn't work. Magneto just coming out of nowhere in the last part of the film, just like, "Hello, Logan, I'm Sir Ian McKellen, and I'm Gandalf, and I'm taking your medal to
and
go...
I'm still alive at this point.
And I have a helmet. Go save the lady. Bye-bye."
He's a ghost.
That's the flying sound of the metal man. But I like that this was a way that they could still end it.
Right.
And by the time we get to this final fight, like, just looking at him, I sat there and I went, please die. Not because I don't want to see you do this ever again, because I want another one of you doing Wolverine like this. I want another movie that's this good, but I want you to have release.
Yeah.
And I think that was the thing that this movie does that none of the other X-Men movies can do, is it makes you freaking care about these guys.
Yeah.
I wanted Wolverine to be able to die because I knew it was what he wanted. And I wanted him to be able to die with his dignity. And that's great. But one of my favorite shots in a movie of action is when someone's running and they shoot a really big gun at them. And they do this, and it looks better than in any movie I've ever seen, because it's just dirt going... and, just... Great.
It's pretty good.
Also, though, how the frick did those guys miss? Don't
They're
shoot
really
at the
bad.
ground. Shoot at the torso. Like cut him in half with this gun.
It was in the script.
It's okay.
I Wolverined up for a second. But yeah, no, that was. We fall over. It was great. Wonderful. Fantastic. So the adamantium is constantly poisoning Wolverine. Although what I've written here is it's constantly poisoning Wolverine. It's just putting him in different poses. All right, now do a backward somersault. Freeze. Okay, take the shot. But that's constantly poisoning him, and this makes it really difficult on him. What was with the grass powers that one kid had?
I liked it.
That was great.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's just
And
like
then
Is that like?
Was it gonna?
The kid also like rained down splinters on that one guy.
That was rad.
That was fantastic.
That was crazy.
So it's not just grass powers. This is like they have control of nature powers. This is fantastic. I want the
then
powers
the-
of this kid.
Girl that blew ice.
Yeah.
Oh, and broke the guy's arm.
that was fantastic. Oh, nothing rubber about that arm.
No.
Although that guy's gonna get a sweet metal arm for later.
Even longer.
So I don't feel that bad for him.
Yeah.
Speaking of metal arms, when after the explosion that Caliban makes happen in the back of that truck, Donald, when he's fixing his hand and the fingers like roll all the way backwards and forwards, so cool.
Yeah.
Little thing, loved it. Back to this final battle with X-24 coming back into the equation again. Kicks Wolverine's butt. Mm-hmm. Just kicks his butt. Worse this time, he impales him, and this is where I have a gripe. Laura has the adamantium bullet. From X-Men Origins, Wolverine. That one does start with X-Men. I didn't mess it up that time. I messed it up a lot tonight. But in X-Men Origins Wolverine gets shot with the same bullets, and it just kind of like makes a little hole in his head and makes him forget third grade math.
I think it's better to disregard X-Men Origins and make things happen rather than to adhere to X-Men Origins.
That's a good yes, but here's the thing that I have. The problem I have with it blows half of X-24's head off.
Yeah.
It's an adamantium skull. That bullet should just bounce off.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going to make adamantium go through adamantium is if it's hot.
Maybe the gun does that. You don't know.
I do know it doesn't. It's
No.
a she picked a random gun up off. She just was
Maybe-
like, moved a rock. Here's a gun.
It was in the
Bang.
script.
Hey, you
Stop
know,
giving me that.
the year is 2029. Maybe they've designed these adamantium bullets to have that mechanism in them because they know that's how it works.
Like a tracer round.
Yeah, kind of.
I
They could
accept
design
that
that.
theory.
Fine. There's
Because
a guy
that
with
was
metal
beautiful.
claws. I guess we can let this happen.
Yeah. Because also
That
it was
gunshot
great.
was awesome. That was so awesome.
I loved his head blowing in half.
It was great.
I've
Fantastic.
never loved that before, but yep.
Why did he not heal up from that immediately?
What? His head blowing in half?
Yeah.
Because he's slower. I mean, that guy shot him in the face with a shotgun a few times.
Oh, that thing I
know.
pointed out earlier.
Yeah.
My bad.
And yeah,
Oh, that was a little blonde moment.
I am a little blonde. I'm very small and have light hair.
and they were all out of the wintergreen juice, so they couldn't heal him up.
Oh no more vape juice. What will we do?
Yeah.
So yeah, but that once she blows X-24's head off and she comes up and she chops the tree and he's down. I have conflicting feelings about this scene because it felt like it was just like that's how he dies.
Yeah.
Like it's just that. But then I was like, but that's brilliant. It's not some like he sacrificed himself, but he's not the one that fixed the problem. Laura did. Mm-hmm. She's the one who actually ended this.
Yeah.
He was just killed. And I feel like with the evolution of their relationship throughout this, they earned her calling him dad.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't like X-Men Origins Wolverine, where the guy goes, "He wasn't your father, son." Like they earned this, and when she says "dad," it's like,
Oh, my heart broke.
That's her dad.
Oh,
I cried.
I cried.
I sobbed. I just. Ouch.
Yeah. So
My heart.
just fantastic moment.
It's kind of cool that Wolverine was the one to kill Wolverine.
Yeah. What's interesting about this is that Logan's death was teased in the previous movie. The way he dies was like they had already figured out how this was going to happen when they filmed the Wolverine. In the previous movie, the girl who can see how people die, she says, "Logan, I saw you die. It's not like I get a complete picture, more like looking through a keyhole, but I'm always right. All I can see is one part of a person's life, their death, and I saw yours. I see you on your back. There's blood everywhere. You're holding your own heart in your hand. And when he dies, he has Laura's hand in his."
Oh, why would you do that to me?
That's cute.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
So if you need to cry, now's the time. That makes that scene so much more impactful to me.
my
Someone on
gosh.
Twitter figured this out and tweeted at the director, and he said, "Yeah, you got it." So he confirmed this.
Or maybe he's just like, oh, dude, that's nice. Yeah, we did that.
It was on purpose.
But this is one of those things where they knew when they filmed the last one that if they did another one, it had to be done this way, and it would be Hugh Jackman's last one. So they did have something like this planned. And another thing is that in the Wolverine, he reaches inside and pulls the little mechanical spider off his heart, which was kind of like supposed to be like, hey, he had his heart in his hand, I guess, sort of. But he really didn't, and there wasn't blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very specific. There's blood everywhere. And there's blood everywhere in Logan. That's for sure. So just great. An interesting fun fact about this movie is that James Mangold likes to film everything with one camera at a time. So they don't do like cross coverage. Like every time you see a camera angle change, they've changed their whole setup and they're not filming two actors responding to each other at the same time.
Oh my god.
That's awful.
That's stressful.
But it allows you to focus on the one
Right.
shot. So
Yeah.
and I like when I'm running two cameras, I feel too comfortable with it. I like having one from a director's standpoint because I focus more.
Yeah.
But the thing about this is that final scene in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, director of photography John Mathiasen, he explained that he felt why it was necessary, why he felt it was necessary to break from Mangold's traditions this one time. What he said was, "It's very important to get into the eyes of both of them. The tears are going to come. You don't just shoot Hugh and go, 'That was very nice. Now let's shoot Daphne,' because they are giving it their all. They will be drained." He said, "Jim is very much a one-camera man, but I didn't even look back at him. I'm sure he got cross at me, but I think he'd agree that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. You better make sure you get it on two cameras. If you have a great performance on one side and they're doing marvelous things and you don't have the other side at the same time, a hand goes here or someone brushes hair out of someone's face, then it's very difficult to recreate that. Then you have the script supervisor coming in and saying stuff like, oh, you had your hand, this in your left hand and your tear came here, and you just can't do that to people." And that was such an emotionally powerful scene. Like, you do 3 takes of that and you can't do it again.
Yeah.
You can't. So
Yeah.
and
I mean, I can attest to that even just from stage performances, that if there's an emotional scene, often the dress rehearsal is the one where everyone's the most emotionally invested.
and then the opening night, you're just like,
No, it's
I'm
just
kidding.
like the one that like actually like you
It's
feel the
impactful.
emotion so much.
right.
Yeah.
This is why I never got away with
Yeah,
lying to my
last one.
parents, because I can only keep the story up one time, and then I was emotionally drained. It's like, fine, Mom, I did take a second waffle. I'm sorry. I didn't leave you any breakfast. Another little fun fact, the Westchester incident that's mentioned in the movie as why they've actually classified Professor X's mind as a weapon of mass destruction. It was in the movie originally. What James Mangold said was, I wrote that scene. I wrote it, and at one point it was even the first scene in the movie. But it also made the movie about that. It was really interesting. It suddenly made the movie about X-Men dying as opposed to allowing the movie to be kind of an unwinding onion. Like allowing you to kind of enter the story and go, where is this going? it was so large and loomed so large, and I felt like it was also still falling into the formula of the movies with the big opener that is setting up the mythology first. I thought, what if we do an opener that leans into character first? Actually underplay those things. Let them just feel like it's more like a, what's that? A normal thing, like it's happened. And instead of underlining it, yeah, just let it live in the background of all these characters. And that is the best thing they could have done.
Yeah.
We didn't need a big opener. We saw Wolverine down in the dumps, and we knew like he's what we're focusing on, and that's what this movie needed to be.
Yeah, a big opener would have taken me out of it because this movie is not that. It's not your superhero movie. It's not a big, fun, jaunty stroll through the park. It's morbid and sad. It's death.
It's Wolverine with some pus on his knuckles.
Yeah.
And actually blood on the claws.
Yeah.
And actual blood on the gloves, yeah. So.
Well, not actual blood.
No.
Well, I'm sure they killed somebody.
It looked real.
Yeah.
Those poor stuntmen didn't know what they were in for.
Getting stabbed in the head and such. Dude, my favorite kill was when X-24 chopped off that cowboy dude's head.
Oh,
that
man.
was great.
Oh,
Fantastic.
man.
Yep. I agree.
Ugh.
Well, no, my favorite kill's still the guy by the door.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite kill. Because it's just like, he doesn't want to, he's just like, I can't believe I have to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then the guy's eyes go blah, back into his head.
Yeah.
So let's give this a rating so we can wrap this up. I'm giving it 12 Logans out of 10.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I know I'm a lot harsher on this movie than I am on the really terrible ones, but that's just because it was just like tiny tweaks that would have been perfect for me.
Yeah.
How many Logans out of 10 would you give it, Micah?
Give it 8.5 Logans out of 10 Logans.
Abby? I can't wait to hear you try to do this voice.
I'm not. I don't like to give things perfect scores, which is kind of weird. But like,
I get
for
that,
me,
though.
I want to say a 10, but at the same time, it's like, no, that's perfection. Like,
I'm giving it 12 out of 10 because it made me feel.
Yeah.
And for me,
That's the thing.
if a movie can make me feel, the rest of it's really not. Like the little imperfections and things, that's not important, because the whole point of a movie is that it you get invested and emotional with it, and you go on this ride with these characters. And I've never been on a journey with a character so closely as in this movie.
Yeah. The purpose of art is to elicit emotion, and this definitely did that.
This elicits the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to give it like 9.5.
All right, 9.5. What?
Logan's?
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, you're not gonna.
Katie?
I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
9 what out of 10 what?
Logan's.
Logan.
I'm not doing it.
Logan. So.
We're on the same team, Abby.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well,
Solidarity, sister.
but yeah, absolutely fantastic. If you're 18 and up, go watch it. Watch it in the theater, see it on the biggest screen you can, and just like turn off your phone. Don't drink anything for 2 hours before you go in. Watch every second of this movie because it is fantastic. It's masterfully done, and
Oh man, all the feels.
Logan. So fantastic. They're already floating around ideas for an X-23 spinoff, but it's not guaranteed that it'll happen. It's just the guy who created X-23 going, this is what I'd like to see them do with the character. But I won't read all that. It's long, so I'm just going to say, well done. And if you'd like to talk to us about Logan and maybe tell us why 12 out of 10 is impossible.
Or if you hated it, tell us why.
And then we'll come to your house and I'll just be like, what's wrong with you? We're not going to come to your house. I don't have time for that. Not because I don't want to. I'd like to chill and maybe, we can watch it. We'll stab each other in the armpits while we watch it to get the full feeling. But yeah, no, you can tweet us. Our Twitter is @RollSoundPod. You can also email us. Our email is rollsoundpod@gmail.com. And then you can get in on the conversation. We'd love to have some conversation with you guys about this. What'd you like? What did you not like? Also, still ongoing is our contest to win a free copy of the Wolverine or lose and get a free copy of X-Men Origins Wolverine. But it's free. It's a digital copy, and you'll get it immediately upon winning. As of right now, the contest is going till the day after this releases, but we may extend it because it's been up for a couple days, and so far no one has put in their stuff. But basically the idea is you just make the funniest Wolverine claws you can. Use a spoon.
Don't suggest anything.
Use
more.
a thing that's not a claw.
Yeah, don't suggest.
I'm sorry. I said spoons last time, so it was safe. But find the funniest thing you can, and send us a picture of you with your Wolverine claws, and just tweet it at RollSoundPod, or you can DM us on Instagram. That is at SolarFlightPro, and then you can win stuff.
Whoop.
Yay!
Yay!
So, get in touch with us, and we'll see you next time on Roll Sound.
Bye.
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 Bye. There's always a goat.